Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel Z Network Lessons, and also welcome to this course of Cisco ASA Zero to Hero. And in this course, we have covered a lot of topics related to Cisco ASA, and in this video, we are going to cover the topic of manual NAT, or people call it policy NAT, or you can say twice NAT, double NAT, whatever you want to call it. So we are going to cover the manual NAT. So first of all, let me explain to you what manual NAT is. Based on these sections, you have seen me talking about sections all these while, right? What are those? So first of all, we have, okay, let me just clear and cross this, and let me open my whiteboard. So until now we have covered in the natting concept, what we have covered is we have covered the Auto NAT only. Auto NAT. Under Auto NAT, what we have covered is, first thing we covered the dynamic NAT. Yeah, wherein we created a pool and then natted it to that, inside to that pool. And then we have covered the static NAT, one-to-one natting. And then also we covered the destination NAT, DNAT, with respect to ASA. And then we covered the dynamic PAT, port address translation, and also the last video that was the static PAT. But if you talk about the larger perspective, these are all part of the Auto NAT. Yeah, these are all part of the Auto NAT. There's another section. This is actually section 2. When we check the NAT, you will see there is section 1, 2 like that, right? So this is section 2. And there is another section called section 1, which is the manual NAT. Or you can say policy NAT, because this is based on policy. Or even twice NAT, double NAT, whatever you want to call it. So this is section 1, which means when you have a a rule that is part of section 1 as well as section 2, the preference will be given to section 1. Okay, preferred over all the sections. So that is the preference level of section 1, section 2, section 3. So how it is different? Well, just to give an idea, let me just grab and clear my. So as of now, what we have done, we have this ASA in the middle. Yes. Then we have the LAN, inside LAN here, right? So we have some subnets here, right? We have the 10.11.11 subnet. We have the 10.20.20 subnet. We have the 10.11 subnet in the inside, right? And then on the outside, what we have a router, and behind that router we have a couple of IP addresses, which are the one is the that I'll be using is the 199.111/32, and we have 200.111/32. So now what we will do, in the previous videos, what we have done, we have created a subnet object here, object network, and then object network, say inside, right? Then we said subnet, then subnet we 255, right? 255.255.255.0. This is the subnet that we entered, and then we went and said NAT, and then your inside to outside. Yeah, then either static, either dynamic. So let's say we are doing dynamic PAT, say we did dynamic, and then the interface or the IP address. Yeah, interface. So this will PAT all the IP address to this interface, which is 192.1.20.10 in our case. That is the firewall's IP address. So whenever a host from this range tries to go to outside, from inside to outside, his source will be translated to this IP address. Yeah. So in all the cases, it was like this only. Almost the dynamic NAT, the static NAT, the dynamic pad, static pad. It was all like this. If source is from a zone or from if it's a host or or a subnet or a range, and from a particular zone going to particular zone, then translate the source. Yeah. Just the case of DNAT was different. Apart from that, every natting was working like this. But what if we have a requirement wherein if this 10.11.11.1 is trying to go, source is this, and the destination is say 199.1.1.1, you have to translate the source to say a particular IP address of 1.20.55. And if the destination is 200.1.1.1, then you have to translate this to a different IP, say 60. This cannot be done using the Auto NAT. For that, you have to use the manual NAT, because this is like a policy. So that's why you call it as policy NAT as well. This is simple, but you can also use the same manual NAT to do translation of the destination as well. When you do that, it is called the twice NAT or double NAT. Twice or double NAT. Yeah, you can also do translation based on services. What do I mean by that? You can also have policies like if this pool is trying to go from inside to outside using telnet, then translate to a certain IP address. If the same host again going to inside to outside, but this time SSH, then a different IP address. HTTP, different IP address. So that is what manual NAT is, and it is very powerful. And mostly this, you will see the use cases wherein I will say, so say for example, you have a firewall here, ASA, right? And behind that you have this LAN, and then you are connected to the internet, and then you have a branch router here, you have a branch office, and behind that branch office you have again a LAN. But just think of this, if you have this same segment, LAN segment on both sides, and then you have the IPsec side-to-side tunnel there. Now your interesting traffic, the ACL, how would it look like? It's going from 10.1.1.1 to 10.1.1.1, right? So this is what the manual NAT can help you with. Yeah. So you can have a policy saying if 10.1.1.10 is going to 10.1.1.0, translate the source, translate the destination. Yeah, let's see this in action, how to configure this and how it works. Yeah, let me close this, and I will just turn on these routers because I need only R2, ASA, and the R1. So here we will be doing all this. So let me grab my R1, my R2, I have my ASA. So what we will do, the plan here is, we will have a dynamic pad on this subnet, and we will pad this to the interface, this one. And when we do a telnet, say we do a telnet from R1, and the telnet source would be first 10.1.11.11.11.1. If I don't specify the source, then the source is this thing, and the destination is 199.1.1.1. And okay, sorry, destination is this. So what will happen in this case? Normal behavior is 20.10. It will be translated to this IP address, and this R2 will see that the firewall interface is trying to access, and there's no issue with the routing, so it will reply back, and this connection will be possible because of TCP. Because it's initiated from the inside, while as the outside to inside, you need a rule that that is basic stuff. But that is simple, right? Even though if I do the same thing with a 200.111, this should work. We're using the same IP address as the source, right? Netting. But on top of that, I will have a even if you have the source as 192.1.22, the result would be outcome would be same, right? The same IP address. But now what I will do, if I will create a policy that says if the source is 10.1.11.11.1 going to 199.1.1.1, then change the source address to 192.1.20.60. And if the destination is say 200.1.1.1, then change the source to 192.1.20.61. Yeah, so that is the requirement. That is what we are going to do here, and that will suffice you as. And also, I mean, when you have the dynamic NAT here, and then you will see that the preference is given to the static manual NAT here. Okay, so that is clear. Now let's go to our ASA here. I want to check ASA. Yeah, enable. I need to check first of all the IP addresses. Show interface IP brief. Yeah, interface is okay. Let me ping on to the both sides. This is the R2 and R1 is 10.11.11.1. 10.11.11.1. That is working. Now I need to check the route. So this should have route for 199. So that is through route outside. Okay, I have to go to the config mode or route outside. Sorry, outside 199.1.1.1, and this is going to be the net mask. Okay, this is /32. So the next hop will be the R2's IP address, and the same for 200. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. So let's see how this works. So first of all, I need to go to R1 and see if R1 has the IP addresses configured. Enable show IP interface brief. It has the IP addresses, and I know I can ping 10.11.11. Sorry, the interface of the ASA, that is 10, should be able, because yeah, so that is fine. And I need to have a route here. Yeah, I have a route, a default route that I need. On R2, I again need the enable show IP interface brief. Hopefully I have the loopbacks and all. Yeah, loopback 1, loopback 2, and loopback 0 as well. And I need the I don't need a route here. No, I don't require a route, but I need the telnet here. Show run section VTY. It should be there. Yeah, it is there. Good enough. So now how to do this? So first of all, let's do the let me grab a notepad. It will be easier for you guys. So first of all, how do we do the object NAT for how do we do the dynamic path? So I need the object network, and the object network is inside 10.11.11.0. Then I say subnet 10.11.11.0 with a subnet mask of 24. Yeah, then I say NAT inside going to outside, then I say dynamic, and then the interface. Yeah, this should be sufficient for my traffic to go from inside to outside. If I do a telnet right now, obviously this will not work. 1.20.2, this will not work because there is no natting, and that's why R2 has no reachability for the inside network 10.11.11, even though R2 is receiving the packet, right? You know this much. So let's go to ASA now, and paste this config. Once I go here and I see show NAT details, now you see Auto NAT section 2. You don't see section 1. You will see it shortly, but when you see show xlate, there is going to be no xlate because this is dynamic. It's not a static one. Once you initiate the traffic, then only you will see the. Now if I do this and it is working now, if I go to ASA and check the xlate, I should have an xlate, which is translating this inside user, which is coming on this with the source port of this one, and it's getting translated to this IP address, which is the firewall's external IP address, and the same port. It's not changing the port. I'll go here Cisco 123, just in case you are not, convinced. I'll check, do a show user on R2 and see the IP address that is accessing it, and it should be 20.10. Yeah, well enough. Now what I want to do, in this case, if I do anything, if I from here I'd say exit and I did a telnet to this one, or now I'll do a telnet to this IP address again, there will be no change in the source. Same 20.10 will be there. You'll be seeing that because this is a dynamic NAT. No, dynamic PAT. Even if you do NAT, you would see something different. Same because of the cache, right? If you go 200 101 123 and I see show users, so again the source IP address should be 20.10, the firewall's IP address. So now I want this policy wherein if my R1 is going to say 200 or 199, it should be translated to 60, and if it's going to 200, it should be translated to 62 or 61. So how to do it? So with this NATing, you need objects for everything. You cannot have IP addresses like from here. If we say dynamic and an IP address, you can type that, but here you need objects for every IP address that you are using. So in our case, it will be using IP address, this one, for which we already have the object. We don't need that object. Then we'll be using these two IP addresses. Then also the translated IP address, both of them, right? We need the 60 and 61. So let's start with object network. Object network, I'll say host 199. Yeah, then I'll say host 199.1.1.1. And then again, I will say exit object network host 200 1.1.1 exit. I need a translated one. So again, object network translated for what, for one. So if this goes to 199, this should be translated to say host 192.1.20.60. yeah, exit, and I will again copy this, and this one, it should be 200 and this should be 61. Yeah, so we need all these NAT objects. Okay, good enough. I'll go and paste this to my ASA. If you check show run objects, you should see all the objects. So I have the inside net, I have this, everything. So I need one for this object as well. If I say object network R1, yeah, and the host IP should be 10.11.11.1. So this is one more that I need. Copy this here. Object network R1 host 10.11.11.1. yeah, after that I need the NAT statement. But for manual NAT, you don't do the NATing inside the object. So that's why you call the Auto NAT as well as Auto NAT also as object NAT, because you do the natting inside the object, but here it's under the global configuration. You can see if I go to an object like this and I say NAT and I hit a question mark, we will see two options, one for the object NAT, one for the manual NAT. But if I go exit, it shows both the options here, but if I type NAT here and hit question mark, it shows only the options for your manual NAT. So how do you do this? So again, you say inside, going to outside, then you say source, and then you have a static. You can also have dynamic, but I'm doing this static. Now you need this time, you need the real source. This is your private IP. So I have R1. Now R1 should be translated to what? Yeah. So we have the, let's do the 199. So it should be translated to this X199. Yeah. When the destination is static, and now it will ask for the mapped destination. That is your translated destination. Yeah. So that is your host, this one. And again the same, because I'm not changing the destination. So hit enter. Yeah. So I will do the same for, for the other one, but that should be 200 destination static H 200 H 200. Yeah, when I do the show NAT here, now you will see the section 1, and inside section 1 you have already two manual NATs defined. So if I see show NAT details, it will show the same thing, but I'll show the check the XLate. For XLate, I already have this getting translated to this when 199 is going to 199. That means totally when this inside is going to 199 111, it will be translated to this, and when this guy is going to this 200, it will translate to 61. Let's check that. So I can go to R1, and what I can do is I can tell it, first of all, 199.1.1.1. So you had seen before this, I did 199 like this, or 200, and it was this external IP address. So now in this case, if I try the same, let's wait for a while. It will take some time. Hopefully, I have to try it again. So yeah, let's wait for this to fail first. And also we can do a show debug transactions, I think. Something TCP, I think TCP transactions, yeah. TCP. Do I have debug TCP transactions? TCP sessions, I think. There was a command, I don't know. I don't remember it right now, but yeah, let me do this, and Cisco 123. Anyways, we can verify using this as well. So now when I go as, to this source of 199, it has been changed to 60. While as if I exit and go to 200, this will be translated to 61. But if I go to 20.2, which is router R2, it will be same, the dynamic path that will be there, because there is no manual NAT statement for 192.120.2. Yeah, so it will fail for the first time, and then in the second time it will be. So if you check here again, say show NAT details, you will see the hits on. So you can see the hits. Okay, let me try this again, and this is working. Cisco 123, and the user should be 61. Let's wait for this. Well enough. Exit, and let me just do this once again so that you see. So on this, the user will be coming from the .10 IP address of the firewall. This is hitting the dynamic pat rule, not any manual NAT rule. Yeah. So yeah, so that was it, guys. And you need to, I mean, this is just a single implementation of your manual NAT. There are multiple implementations of manual NAT. You need to, I mean, study the case studies from Cisco. That will help you understand this manual NAT more, and also different case studies wherein you use this manual NAT to achieve a lot of things, which will not be, um, which you will not be able to do it using the Auto NAT. Yeah. So that's it for this video, and stay connected. And bye bye for now. Thank you.